Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review A Ghost Story. Now, I heard a lot of buzz about this film when it was released in different festivals and such, and I was going into this very intrigued by the trailer, realizing this could go really pretentious and too far in terms of artistic, or this could be an absolutely amazing movie that's going to skyrocket up to the top of my list in terms of favorite films of the year. And it wound up falling somewhere in between there for me. Now, there's a lot to unpack about this film, and honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be completely right with how I feel about this film during this review, having seen this tonight. But what I really want to get at here is that this film, if you're really into film, this film is worth seeing no matter what, because some of the things that they do with this film are so awe-inspiring, really. And this is so ambitious, and that's the biggest praise I could give about this film, is how ambitious it is. David Lowery wrote and directed this film, and my experiences with this director and screenwriter was from the Pete's Dragon film that came out last year, which I really enjoyed, actually. I thought it was very heartwarming and surprisingly emotive for a film that I wasn't expecting to be very good. And honestly, this movie packs punch. In terms of the actual directing, the storytelling is really confusing, and how they go about this story, and honestly, some stuff doesn't make sense. And trying to unpack what this story is trying to tell and realizing where this film goes, it takes a while to figure out what the hell's going on, to be perfectly honest, and going in too far of trying to be out there and creative to the point where it's kind of alienating. And in terms of the pace, there it doesn't build enough of a slow burning tension, really, for me, for this not to just feel slow and boring. And for at least the first half of this film, it did feel that way, and it did pick up towards the second half of the film, definitely the third act, I guess, the last third of this film, which is only an hour and a half. So I was honestly bored with some of it, and there's some moments that are just like, alrighty, really trying to milk the technical aspects of this film and hoping that it really engages you without really trying to engage you. And the what I can say though is this has such a perfect, consistent atmosphere about it, and the tone that this takes is so well done and so well flourished throughout the whole entire film that that's something that's really, really well handled by Lowery in this situation. And there's particular scenes that are frightening and just devastating and pack a wallop of a punch. And that's high praise for what David Lowery is able to do with this film. And in terms of looking at this film overall, this is like really a big punch in terms of emotionally and how impactful this can be. And something that really sticks out from this film is the cinematography done by Andrew Draws Palermo, which so evocative and striking everything about this film, and being able to balance taking shots of somebody in a sheet dressed up as a ghost and it not being funny, but on the backdrop of these shots that are devastating and eerie and everything brought together, this movie is strikingly beautiful. And that's something that really hits you in this film and is able to draw you into it. Now, David Lowery also wrote this, and it's an intriguing story what they're trying to go with, but it wanders a bit too much and doesn't keep its focus really enough, and doesn't have a driving point for us to follow along with the story, which kind of leaves you lost in a lot of sense in a lot of the parts of this film. And the characters I thought were fine, and I'll talk more about the acting too, but honestly, it's like I didn't feel really super connected with them. It's just because you don't really get to know really deeply about these characters, it feels like. And in terms of the dialogue, there's this one particular this one tirade that this guy goes off of that's so pretentious and so like, oh, I'm trying to really dig home these themes of this film, and that was so heavy-handed, and it really took me out of the movie. But this also is a really deep film, and what it's trying to go at, and showing these different terrible dark aspects of humanity, and really driving home with the impact of this film. In terms of the acting, Rooney Mara and Casey Affleck do a fine job. They do what they're supposed to. Casey Affleck's under a sheet for a lot of the movie. But, and I guess just to sum up this film, I had so much respect for this. And there's so many pieces of this that are absolutely amazing. But they don't fit together to make something amazing. There's too many things lacking in this for me to consider this a great film. But I admire this film a lot. I admire what David Lowery was able to do with it, and that's why I'm going to give A Ghost Story a B. I will definitely go check it out if you're really into film, but if you're just a casual moviegoer, I would totally skip this film.